Hi, you're listening to When Isabel Met Aviva, a podcast about rom-coms, female-driven screenwriting, and how to break into the entertainment industry. I'm Isabel.
And I'm Aviva.
And this is episode 7 of our podcast. We're really excited because today we're bringing on another guest. We're going to be talking to Aviva Blotman, who wrote a script called Clay that we got to read. And that movie got turned into a Hallmark movie. The name is the Hallmark movie is called Made for Each Other, which I actually think is a really great name too. So I was excited about that. But the script we read is more of an R-rated version of this idea. So I'm really excited to talk to her because I am so curious to hear how it became a Hallmark movie.
Yeah, for sure. Me too. I'm so excited. I've known her for a while online, so it'll be really nice to see her face-to-face virtually at least.
Awesome. So let's add her to the chat.
Yeah, let's get started.
We tried to do this interview a while ago, but we were all kind of having tech issues, but I feel like now we're entering, we've all kind of upgraded ourselves.
Yeah.
So welcome back to the podcast, Adi. Did I say that right?
You did.
Okay. Welcome back to the podcast, Adi. We're so excited to talk with you about your movie. Well, the script was called Clay, right? But the movie,
the original, yeah.
Was the movie a different name? I can't remember, actually.
Yeah, it was retitled Made for Each Other.
Made for Each Other, okay.
Yes.
Yeah, actually, that is a great name, especially knowing the story.
I love a good pun.
Yeah.
Great. I love a good punny title.
Remind me how you two met. Was it on Twitter?
Yeah.
I feel like I just should assume that Aviva meets everybody on Twitter.
I should be sponsored by Twitter or
you really
X,
should,
honestly, at this point. I'm just
Yeah, we've been in touch for, gosh, I don't even know how long.
During the pandemic at some point, I assume, because that's when I was really active on Twitter.
Me too.
It could have been, were you part of Pipeline Writers, like the hashtag on Friday night?
Oh, okay.
A few
Could have been
times.
that. I eventually started a Jewish screenwriters like Twitter chat, which is still kind of active. If anyone's listening and wants to join, let me know. We have some really cool writers there. So yeah, we somehow connected on Twitter, but I can't remember our meet cute. So
Yeah.
No, you don't remember like the tweet that
I
got
don't.
you guys
It was
talking?
probably
go back on our messages and see
yeah.
what the first one is, which
I know we did a feedback exchange at the beginning of our Twitter friendship. So
you read Clay.
Yes, I read
Right.
Clay.
Oh,
You read,
okay.
I think, my Hanukkah rom-com that I wrote a while ago, Home for Hanukkah.
Yeah.
So I think that was probably the beginning.
Yeah.
I love that title, Home for Hanukkah.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
That's
It's one of my favorites.
And it sounds like it could be a pop song too.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, there's a lot of like Christmas, like Home for,
Yeah.
I don't know, like I kind of was a play on that, I guess.
That's your next thing to write and just cash out on the Hanukkah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Never have to work again.
Please.
Honestly, you could do a redo of I'll Be Home for Christmas, but it'll just be I'll Be Home for Hanukkah.
I actually really like that title.
Yeah.
I know. I was gonna say.
I'm going to steal it from you. It's good as well. Yeah. So we did a feedback exchange and we've just been on Twitter together ever since. So, and when did your movie come out? That was at the beginning of this year, right?
Oh, yeah.
Part of the February Love-uary lineup. So it was
Love it.
February 25th of this year, which was really cool. Like,
I can't believe it's this year. It feels like so long ago now. That's so cool.
I know. I was just gonna say that's awesome.
Yeah, this year feels like 3 years. I don't know.
It does. It's surreal. Can you talk to us? So how did this script come to be, and how did it eventually get made?
Sure. It's weird. I was having a meeting with a different production company about a different like Jewish themed scripts, and I remember they were telling me they were working on some kind of a golem film, which is usually a horror genre, and something just kind of clicked in me, like in that moment, that I was going to write like a golem rom-com. And
what's a golem for people who don't know?
Okay, a golem is just like a statue that's made out of clay. And, the legend is, I don't even know. I did so much research and I don't remember like the exact centuries and
Yeah.
everything because it was
Yeah.
a few
Yeah.
years ago. So please don't.
No worries.
Anyway, it's a sculpture that's basically brought to life, and it's man shaped. And the legend is that Jewish communities used to use them to like protect the communities, but it always like ends in disaster or something like that. So I just thought it would be really cool to have like a man come to life. And I was looking online and I was just researching hyper realistic sculpture, and I saw that people are making sculptures out there that look exactly like people, or like exactly like, they're so real looking. And I was like, what if you made a statue like that and it looked exactly like a real person and you couldn't differentiate it, but it had just been brought to life. And there's a lot of silliness that can ensue with that.
Yeah.
And I wrote it, and I was submitting it to contests for a couple of years. I want to say it did pretty well in a few contests. And then I did Coverfly's pitch week, and an exec from Hallmark wanted to meet with me, and I asked her, what are you interested in from the projects I already have here? And she said that one. And I was like, really? Because it was not very Hallmark friendly at the time. But I sent it to her, and a few months later, I found out they wanted to, develop it. And a few months later, we signed the contract and got to work. And it basically happened all within a year and a half of
Wow.
that.
Yeah,
So it was
that's awesome.
crazy.
Cool.
When the
Shout out to
executive-
Coverfly.
Oh, yeah.
No, it was, I always submit to it because like it's free and I have a lot of projects, and, I haven't gotten picked for the last 3 of them. So, you don't always get picked, but it's like, why not? It's, it's just a thing you can do. And if you're
It's
lucky,
free.
and it's free, and, if something can come out of it. So, and it did. And it's like, I kind of can't believe it. It's just like, what? Because
yeah.
Do you actually pitch something? Like how does it work? Do you just pitch to like a room of people, or?
No, it's usually like they'll look at, they'll have profiles to pick from, and they can look at writers and their bios and their log lines. And then you basically have a general, unless you're, meeting with a production company. Sometimes they want to talk more about the project, and sometimes they want to talk more about you. So I just kind of go into it with like just wanting to have a conversation, and trying to like, be funny, and, tell them the kind of stuff I like to write. And I always ask, like, because I have several projects on Coverfly, and I was like, did you read anything you liked? And then I can talk about it. So yeah, it's good. I've had some less than good meetings through it, but then like this one was just when you connect with a person on a almost like friend level right away. And that's how it felt with this executive. I just like, you kind of know it's like in a rom-com, you just like feel something. And you're like,
this connection. Yeah, that's awesome.
That's so true.
Cool. I believe that you can apply again for the next round of Pitch. I think I saw something on Twitter or something. The next round is coming up.
Yeah, like December something.
Yeah.
So
I'm going to try to apply. I've been rejected every time, but I'm going to keep applying. So.
One of these days.
One of these days. I'm going to get
automatic, and it just like applies every time.
Exactly. Yeah. Did pitching, did it used to be scary for you, or have you always been comfortable with the idea of just chatting about your projects?
I'm never comfortable.
Yeah.
I try to be, and I really try to like, breathe and relax and remind myself that I'm just speaking to a person that like, but I do get very nervous before meetings, and I just try to, that's why if you have that connection right away and you can feel comfortable, it's not something, and this is something I do tell people, you can't like force it, because sometimes you're just going to meet with someone and they're not going to really get along and or just have that connection, and that's okay. You know, it's about finding those few people that you do have that great connection with. They're going to want to keep working with you.
I was curious to know when you said that the Hallmark executive said they were interested in the Clay script. Had they read it, or had they just read the log line for it?
Just read the log line.
Okay.
And then I sent it over, and then it was just like a few months of waiting, and I didn't know if they had read it or not. And then, she did get back to me, and I was really surprised, that they were still interested after reading it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was R-rated for those.
Yeah, it was definitely a very R-rated movie. That's why when we first read the script, I mean, I loved it. I loved your writing, and I thought it was so funny, and like, but I remember reading it because isn't there a scene where she's like sculpting his penis and she's like looking at like all the photos, and I thought it was all hilarious. But I like did a double take where I put it down, and then I went back to our email and I was like, didn't we say this was a Hallmark movie?
Yeah, it was definitely my usual style is definitely, I never thought I'd be writing for Hallmark, and I really love working with Hallmark. It was a great experience, but like, it's not something I imagine that I would do. And I was very shocked that they wanted to develop it, and I knew it was going to change pretty drastically. But it was a really good exercise in trying to keep something really funny and staying clean at the same time, which I'm not always used to. And I feel a lot stronger about being able to do that now. So that's
it takes a specific skill set. Like that's why I admire like Seinfeld. Like, although he can go a little more inappropriate, but I think that like it takes extra comedic like chops to be funny in a G-rated way. So
agreed.
And what I also think is surprising, like when I heard that it was being made, and like you told me, is just because it's not a Hanukkah, it's a Jewish rom-com, but it's not a holiday rom-com, which is really exciting that they wanted to do that.
Yeah, they're definitely doing more of that, and just like, I think they're just like exploring a lot more different things now, and I think that's really exciting, especially if people are trying to break in, because I think having a movie script is very helpful, because I think it's easier to it's not easy, but I think it's easier to sell that, because you can adapt that, than selling a series. I think that's probably a lot harder. But I think almost anything can be, adapted. Hopefully, like, I was very happy with what what we all did together with it. It's I'm very proud of it.
Yeah. And there were some jokes in the film that, we're still GPG rated, but that kind of pushed the envelope a little bit more than I expected, which was cool to see as well.
It was a little risque, like at moments I felt, which I really loved it. Like, I love that they kept like Clay in a towel. I thought that was like not something I expected they would do, and he was wearing that for like a good minute. Walking around the room with it, and then I don't know. It was definitely. There's some jokes that the director added too that I think I loved them so much. So there were like these little surprises for me when I watched it the first time, and I was like, I loved him. He was amazing, and he was so funny, and he had really good ideas. So it was so much fun to work with him.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Can you talk to us a little bit about the like development process? Because I'm kind of curious. It sounds like they read the script, they really loved like the concept and everything, but then when they met with you, were they like, okay, we love this, but we're gonna have to like make it G-rated? And then did you just like rewrite it, or did they like work with you on that process? Or
well, I mean, I knew it was coming, like on our first meeting, and I think I even told them like before we even got started, I was like, I know what you're gonna say. You want more sex and violence. And it was just like a little icebreaker. But yeah, I got like some notes, we had a discussion about it, and then I got some notes, and I just kind of got to rewriting. Probably have talked about this, but these movies have a 9-act structure, which is actually kind of fun to write to, just because like having those little act breaks and those like little pivotal moments, and knowing that each act is, the first one's longer, but the other ones are shorter, and it just like it feels more manageable. I don't know to write. But yes, I had to like kind of work off those parameters, and I was given like, try to get to around this page count, and these are like the page counts for the acts, and they just kind of let me go with it, which was good, but it was also really scary. And I just, worked on it for a little over a month, and sent it back just so we can like see where we're at. And it was like a good response. I had to do another rewrite, which was a set of production and development notes, but they actually they put it into one document, and they all, agreed on those notes. So nothing was fighting each other, which was really good. And they were very specific, which I really love. Where I can just like, so yeah, then I had like, before production, I had about 2 weeks to do a rewrite, and then I had to do another rewrite, which I had like less than a week to do, just a few days. And it's really kind of, but it wasn't like a lot, the further you go with it, there's less to do. So it was just like these little fixes, and it was really exciting to work on it. And it's good. I like deadlines. They
yes. When you have a deadline from like Hallmark, like I'm sure you get that motivation a lot more than like writing on your own.
Yeah, it's like a lot of pressure too, because you really want to do a good job. You want to make a good impression. You want to be on time. You want to be receptive. You want to be, and it's not like it's not difficult to do, but like just to be a person that's easy to work with, and can turn around things pretty quickly. That helps.
Yeah, for sure. And were you involved, like, did they share with you casting information or like anything else from the creative process?
I didn't have like any input on it, but they did share with me when they cast certain people. I was very excited about the cast. I was very excited about Ileana Douglas, and I actually rewrote the character for her based on her notes, which made the character
cool,
way better.
Yeah.
I mean, you saw like in the original script, she was not as like wild and just like fun as Doris ended up being. So it was definitely the right choice, and it was really cool just to see a woman that age just being like so fun and just full of life and following adventures. And I just thought it was a good call. So it was exciting. And then I got to listen to the cast read for the first time. We did it over Zoom because everyone's all over the place. And then we talked about ways that we could improve the script. And it was, and then, I got the call sheets and all the production for what they were shooting. I wasn't there, but it was really cool to just like see where they were shooting things and how their day was breaking down. It was just, I don't know, it was awesome.
Yeah.
This might be a stupid question, but I don't know because I've never had a movie made. Is the writer usually on set, or is the writer not normally on set? I'm not sure how that works.
We honestly don't know. With a non-union Hallmark film, I would assume for the most part the writer isn't on set, but I can only speak to my experience. So but hopefully next time I get to be on set, that would be cool.
That'd be really cool. But that's cool that you got to see the script read through.
Yeah.
That would be, I can imagine just feeling really excited during that moment.
It was amazing. It was like the first time I also heard Aaron, who was playing Clay, just like do this role, and he was cracking everyone up because he was like so like sincere, and everything he was saying, he was just so perfect in it. I mean, everybody was, but he was just like, he did above and beyond what I like thought Clay could be. It was really fun.
Yeah, I thought he did a great job.
Yeah.
When the movie premiered, how did you feel? Did you have a party? I guess there's no premieres really for Hallmark films, but yeah, what was that like?
I was like so jittery that entire day, and that whole like the whole time leading up to it. But I went out to dinner with my family, and then we went to my brother-in-law's place, and they had bought like a red carpet from Amazon and like
that's really wholesome.
put it on the door, and they arranged for like movie snacks on like trays, and they did
my
like
God.
I love that.
And
That's so cute.
It was so nice. And then I couldn't eat anything. Like, honestly, at this point, I was just like, just vibrating with energy. And we were just watching the movie together. And I think my face the whole time was like we're smiling or laughing. Like I was so happy with, and just seeing everyone else like enjoying it was like, it was awesome.
Yeah. What did your friends and family think?
It was, I mean, everyone told me they liked it. I don't know. But my family in Israel didn't actually get to see it right away because it was streaming, in the States. So my dad, after a few days, found like a bootleg copy of it, like on YouTube, and watched it, like stayed up late at night and watched it. And he said it was amazing. And I was like, that's all I needed. And my mom watched it. I think she was on vacation with a friend, and they watched it together, like in their hotel room. And it was just like, it was really cool, I've been writing for a long time. Like over a decade.
Oh, wow.
And then before that, I was a performer for another decade. So I've been doing this for about 20 years. And this is the first like real big thing that like happened career-wise that I felt like this, this is validating. This is good.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
And do you have the poster framed in your office or bedroom?
I have the poster. I'm going to frame it. My office isn't done yet.
Yeah.
I have like a whole vision for my office, and like it's gonna take a minute, but I do plan on framing that. And
I dream about that day too. Just having your own poster is
so
beautiful.
First time I saw it, I was like, oh my God, that's the best movie poster I've ever seen.
It's really good.
It is really cool,
I really like it.
It's so colorful, and it feels like almost like 70s or something colors or something. I don't know.
It's beautiful. I agree.
Do you think you're going to keep writing for Hallmark? Do you like writing for Hallmark more now that you've worked with them? Do you think, or like, have you been kind of writing your own stuff that's more in like your, I don't know, R-rated genre?
Well, I am pitching more ideas to Hallmark. So I still have a relationship with them. And, I definitely hope I get to work on more movies for them. They're wonderful to work with. I think most people you talk to that work for them might say the same. And hopefully. And then I'm writing another movie right now for Mar Vista, which is not it is not a rom-com, and it is not like, it can definitely take more risks and use, it's a little more my comfort zone, I would say. Not that, I feel like more comfortable writing Hallmark type movies. I've written a bunch of pitches for now, but I'm having fun writing both. Like I just like writing comedy, whether it's clean or not clean. I'm happy writing it. It's the best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you able to share how you got the Mar Vista opportunity?
Sure. It's this is kind of nuts. So I entered Tracking Board Launchpad a few years ago with a different comedy script feature, and there's an exec that read it and really liked it, and we met and we had one of those, your friend now meetings.
Mm-hmm.
We stayed in touch for like several years. Like anytime I wrote something, she read it. She always tried to, help me out career wise. And we just, we became friends, and she started working there, and she presented this opportunity and I pitched on it, and I ended up getting it, and we've been, and it's kind of like, it's crazy. Yeah, I,
Yeah,
I
that's
don't
really
even know.
cool. And
But like,
it's, yeah.
so much can come from contests, and you know, it's also just like a friend of mine now. So
Mm-hmm.
and I get
Yeah.
to work with her, and it's kind of wonderful.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like contests, like, screenwriters get down about contests, a lot, that you know, a lot doesn't come out of them for a lot of people, but it's really cool to
Yeah,
hear, like, you're a success story for
Yeah.
that, for sure. And a Coverfly success story as well. Yeah.
yeah. Just like, I think sometimes people think, why would I put myself out there? Nothing's going to happen anyway.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many other people doing it, but it's worth it to put yourself out there. It's like you're betting on yourself. So you gotta, like, if you can, I know it's hard with contests. There's like some free opportunities, and there's, early deadlines that are sometimes cheaper. And there's some contests that are like free or just pretty inexpensive.
Mm.
But like, it's, sometimes it's worth it. It was just like the only thing I felt like I could do for myself. Say, don't have representation. I still don't.
Okay, I was gonna ask that.
I'm trying to get myself the work, and that's all you can do before. And I think even after you have representation, it's like you're gonna get work that's through your contests or contacts or your friends or things like that. So,
Yeah.
put yourself out there.
Did you navigate then the like contract process by yourself, or did you talk to like an entertainment lawyer or a manager in any way, or?
I do have a lawyer.
Okay.
That is a representative of mine, but I don't have an agent or a manager.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
she's great. I love her, and she's been handling everything of the business side of it for me.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, I always kind of assumed that you like had to have an agent or a manager when you get like when someone wants to buy your
Mhm.
script, but I don't know. I've been curious to how that process works or if
I
like people just do it themselves.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of it is, people just making connections. I just had a company reach out to me through LinkedIn,
Wow.
for pitching, to Hallmark basically through them.
I should get
So
back on LinkedIn.
yeah, yeah,
I have
LinkedIn
not been
going.
active on there. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But again, yeah, LinkedIn is another free thing. No matter how many emails they send me trying to get me to sign up for LinkedIn Premium, it's not
Mm-hmm.
LinkedIn.
Yeah.
But
Totally.
yeah, it's another thing you can do.
So we're curious about your writing process generally, and what do you do when you have an idea? Do you have a note on your phone? Yeah, like how does the whole process work for you?
I for the ideas that are just like the ones I've written on my own,
Mm-hmm.
it just comes in a flash. I will try to think of an idea for, it could be months at a time, and not, everything I think of is, well, that's been made and that's this movie, and I can't do that. And then once in a while I'll get an idea and I'll like have to do it. And it usually starts with me just like I type notes on my phone because I never have a notebook on me and I'm home all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But and I'll just start like, writing thoughts and notes like while I think about it for a little bit, and then I'll just start writing it. I wasn't always huge on outlines, like they would be pretty sparse. I try to do better now with outlines, just because it's very helpful when you're actually writing, and it's something that's expected from you professionally when you do that. So I thought I might as well, get more comfortable doing them, while leaving room for discovery.
Yeah.
But I write like almost every morning. It's like the first thing I do. I get my coffee and I sit in my office and I write for like an hour, and then I eat, and then I try to do some more writing, and then I have a part-time job later on in the day. So it's just morning is my favorite time. It's when my brain is like fresh and I just want to work. I can't do it in the evening. Just can't.
Yeah.
I'm the same. That's that's part of my morning routine. It's like either I get up and I go on a walk, or I just sit down and I just start writing, because I feel like I wake up very like, I don't know, creative feeling. So I like to try and use up that energy in the morning before later in the day, after I've worked or done something, then I feel like there's all these distractions in your mind at that point. So it makes it harder to sit and focus.
Yeah. I'm useless in the evening.
Yeah, right. Yeah. 6 o'clock, I can't get anything done after that.
Totally. Do you listen to music, or like, do you have any way to like inspire yourself? Or
I have a white noise machine that I need like anytime I'm writing or anytime I'm in a quiet room. I can't listen to music. I can't have any sounds really in the room because I'm very easily distracted.
Yeah.
Yeah, same.
I do have an app that I haven't been using as much lately, but it's like a brainwave app that like you put your headphones in, you can like listen to a noise that's supposed to tune your, like it's a brainwave that's supposed to be for different things, so you can use it for creativity or meditation or whatever. So sometimes I use that if it's like too noisy. But yeah, I need quiet, and I need like everything that I need to be around me. If I have to get up and get something, I get really upset.
Yeah.
But it could be like, my glasses cleaner thing. If I leave it on the other side of the room, I'm like, damn it.
Yeah.
Totally.
It's like you leave the zone.
Like a whole, like, I try to make it just like, it's like fun for me, and I light a candle and I like open the window, and it's supposed to be like this like luxurious time that I get to like do what I love. And then if I'm struggling, I struggle too, but it's I try to make it an enjoyable experience.
Yeah, I like the idea of more of a ritual, that I want to try to do that more, making it luxurious. That's a great word.
Yeah.
Rather than work, or because even though I love writing, I sometimes dread beginning. So once you get into the flow, it's a lot better.
I take a lot of breaks and look at my phone. It's very hard for me to concentrate. Like sometimes I'll finish a scene and I'm like, okay, I need to like play this game for like 5 minutes before I get back to this. So
yeah,
I was gonna ask, what do you do to like kind of stimulate the creativity if you get out of roadblock or you find yourself getting stuck? Do you like sometimes I'll get up and go on a walk or like listen to music, and then that might trigger like an idea or like get me back into the zone. But I'm always curious what other writers do, so if there's things I can learn to try when that fails me.
Honestly, like I like to do dishes when I'm thinking of something by hand. I clean sometimes because I do it as a distraction from writing, but a lot of times I end up thinking about it while I'm doing it anyway. If I'm really struggling with something, I try to just write it badly and move on to the next thing, and try to like get to the end. And then I go back and try to fix it. But if I'm really struggling, that's what I try. And then I have like a weekly writing group for the last few years that, so I pretty much always have notes to work on. We basically we all bring about 10 pages of whatever it is we're working on, and we all read it in the group and we give notes, and then, I have something to work on for the next, few days at least.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really helpful.
I think the first thing you said is really great advice. And I've been trying to practice that more too, where like, if you can't get through a scene, just write it, even if it's not what you want it to be or and it's really bad. But if it pushes you through to the rest of the script, you can always read it later. And then when you reread it, you change it or you figure out the better way to do it. But I used to struggle with that a lot. I'm actually struggling with that right now in a script, but earlier this morning I was like, oh, I just keep writing, Isabel, just like get through this scene, like we'll figure it out later.
Sometimes I'll write like in all caps and maybe in a different color, this is what happens in the rest of the scene. And then I know that, you know, it's easy to find later on because it's in a different color and it's like bolded.
Oh, that's a good idea.
And then I, you know, just move on, especially if I just like kind of know what I want to happen, but I don't want to put it down yet. I had like this other movie that I wrote that's not for anyone yet. It's I had this fight scene that I wanted to write in it, and I was avoiding that scene for months. I just wrote fight scene here. And eventually I got to it. I don't know how good it is, but it's, yeah, I basically did everything else but that until I had to.
And it's kind of like Mad Libs. Like, I think like in a different way, like you have to just put out the bones of a scene. And then I find if I return to it later, I'm like, oh, actually, I know a better way that these characters are going to communicate the same thing. So what you're saying. And I also try to like, whenever I'm writing something new, I think of it as like a vomit draft, even though it's a gross term. And it really helps me mentally not be as much of a perfectionist. Cause I think perfectionism is like what we're all talking about now is, you know, we want it to be perfect the first time we write it. And that's just not always the case. So
yeah, it's so true. I put that stress on myself all the time when I'm writing. I'm like, this is the final draft that is like gonna get made into the movie. Like every single word matters.
Then it's gonna change. It's inevitable. So I like what you're saying about that. I had a question kind of going back in time a little bit. I would love to just hear like how you discovered screenwriting and when it became your dream. And because you said it was a 10 years in the making dream. And we've been talking a lot about that on the podcast, how Isabel and I have been dreaming about this for years. And then finally it takes so much time. So when was this your dream and how did you discover screenwriting?
Yeah, I moved to America to like be an actor, really. So I went to an acting conservatory in New York, and I ended up really liking comedy. So I just did like improv and sketch and stand up in New York for like, you know, almost over a decade, like, you know, a mix of those things. And I kind of got to a point where I just wasn't enjoying live performing anymore as much. And I didn't really consider that like writing movies or TV, even though it's my favorite thing in the world, could be a job that I could do. I don't know why it didn't like click, but this idea like came up and I started like experimenting with like a screenplay. And then my husband and I moved to LA in 2013. And that's when I really like started writing scripts. I took UCLA extension classes. And I just, you know, started hanging out with more writers and just like reading more. I went to Austin once in 2014. That was awesome. But yeah, I just kind of like, I really liked it. It's a really efficient form of storytelling. It's my favorite because you only tell the most interesting and important and funny bits. And like, you know, you don't need to get into too much, you know, background or description or anything. It's just what's important like right now for people to know about the story. And it just felt really right. So I've just been doing it and submitting to contests and meeting people and selling the script to Hallmark actually happened after I moved to Pennsylvania, which is like hilarious.
It just goes to show you don't need to live in LA. You can work from anywhere to make it happen.
If you're doing movies, you can really do them, I believe, from everywhere. TV, you might have to be in LA for certain things, but like I think there's rooms in New York and other cities, and it's some are remote, some are not. Like I don't know, but it's definitely something I want to do in the future. I really love TV.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that. You've written pilots as well.
I've written way more pilots than I have features. I have like three features, well, 4 features now that I've written, and maybe like 8 to 10 pilots. So
wow.
That's interesting.
I love TV. It's the best.
Do you want to work in TV eventually, or are you more focused on features?
I'd love to work on both. I definitely love TV. I like being able to tell like a story over a period of time and just like kind of, go on a journey with people and you're not sure when it's going to end.
Yeah.
Like, I really love that.
Yeah, that's awesome. I bet being in a writer's room would be a really special experience too, to have that collaboration.
That would be a dream.
I just thought of a fun question because I didn't realize that you had a background in doing like improv and stand-up, because I just remembered that was his name David, right? In Made for Each Other?
David, yeah.
Yeah, because he's a comedian. So were any of his little bits like bits you had done before, or did you just make those up for the script?
I made them up for the movie.
Okay.
It was my comedy style was definitely more risque as well. There's a lot I couldn't really translate, but a lot of like his experience of just like feeling like you always have to like prove yourself to people, and like you really have to be your own biggest fan and supporter, because a lot of people are going to doubt you, and they're gonna you do a lot of work for free as a stand-up comedian or an artist. There's so much, it's so much work basically, and I don't think it gets enough respect, like and I just I like the idea of also just like, they really like the idea of that it wasn't a traditional job that they have in a lot of the Hallmark movies. It's not something they've explored that much, and it was really fun.
I loved that.
It's very Jewish, very Jewish comedy, and and I'd never seen a film really about at least on Hallmark, about pottery and about like an artist's perspective. I thought was really cool, and I really liked the scene where they were doing pottery together, like they were making the creation together. That's one of my favorites. Yeah. Yes, very sexy scene, and I just I was into it.
That's
pretty cool.
It is funny to think. I don't know, when you said that, Aviva, I'm like, clay and pottery, like I guess to me seems like that would be such a like, I don't know, a perfect setting for like a rom-com movie, right? In a pottery studio or one of those like paint and sip classes, but you're like painting pottery.
The only movie that comes to mind is Ghost, which is a totally different vibe, which I love as well. I've actually been taking a pottery class, and I've been thinking about the movie Ghost a lot because that's my association, with the potter's wheel and everything.
Well, I would love to do that.
Yeah, I haven't tried the wheel yet, but we've been doing mostly just hand stuff. But I want to try the wheel at some point. I hear it's really difficult, but I need to try it.
You'll do great.
Thank you.
It sounds fun. It's good to have like other interests.
Yeah.
I need to get some.
It's easy to just focus on writing for sure. Other forms of creativity are good too.
One other fun question I thought of. Do either of you think about the music in your script when you write it, and or do you make a playlist for your script? I've been trying to figure out if I'm the only person who does this. I don't think I am, but I constantly put, I feel like in college I was taught that you shouldn't put music cue, like the song plays, but then the producers I've been working with told me to do that. They were like, if you have an idea for a song for like a dance scene or stuff, and I was like, oh, I have a whole playlist already for this movie, so if you're giving me permission to put those ideas in, of course I will.
Well, I haven't made a playlist, but I have put like specific songs into might work certain times.
Yeah.
I know some people say it's a no-no. For me, it's not me in any way saying I believe we're going to get this song,
Right.
but it's like,
That's the vibe.
you know, if you can, that would be great. But that's the vibe. And you know, if I pick a specific song, it has like a certain meaning that like has something to do with what I'm writing. So I hope it's like convey it or something. But I don't think it's like the worst thing to do in a spec. You know, I think people assume that if you sell your work somewhere, you're gonna have to make changes based on production and budget and things like that. It's, you know,
doesn't your script have like What a Man, that song?
Yeah, What a Man Gonna Do.
Yeah.
The original script had the What a Man song while she was like, we were doing the you know, sculpture building montage.
That was a great choice for that.
And I love montages.
Yeah. And she's like, I think I want to have your baby. And I'm like, that's just fun. You know, make it in the movie. But no one like gave me a hard time for putting it in the spec script.
Yeah.
So,
that's really fun. Yeah, I feel like I listen to new songs all the time where I'm like, this needs to be in my next rom-com.
Yeah.
Like it happens all the time. I think that'd be a really fun job to choose music for productions.
I mean, you're directing on the page. Like if you, you know, there is going to be a director, but like while someone's reading it and you tell them like what to look at or what to like, you know, it helps them picture it better, like a movie. And then you can always change it later.
Yeah.
But, you know, I think it's about being confident enough in your writing to say like, you know, this is just feels right for me for the script. And, you know, maybe we'll change it, but
Final draft or like, I don't know, Adobe PDF needs to figure out a way where like when you're reading a script, if there is a music cue, it like plays it like while you're like reading
it's like
the song.
MySpace. It's like MySpace throwback.
Yeah, that would be hilarious. At the top of the script, it's like insert like play playlist while you read the script.
I love that.
That's a great idea. We should invent that.
Well,
Shout out to Final Draft.
No, they
don't.
No.
They should.
That should be a thing.
The other thing I want them to do is, you know, right now Final Draft has the feature where like robot voices can read it out for you. But I want in the future, and I'm sure this is going to happen, like actual like real sounding people reading it, because that'd help so much during the editing process. Like the robots are a little distracting.
These are the good uses of AI.
I know people on their development team, and I'm a beta tester for Final Draft, so suggestions. Yeah,
we can make a whole list. I was
gonna say I've got some other ideas, but the music playing in the script while someone's reading it, tell them to do that.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah. No, that's
Should we move into the quick fire round? Okay. Okay. We still don't have a name for this.
I was thinking something with like chasing someone at the airport. Like we need to think about like I feel like maybe that would work. The vibe, like chase. I don't know what it would be called though. Like
the chase scene.
The chase scene route. But I don't know. That sounds weird. I don't know. We're still
We're chasing you towards the end of this interview.
Yeah, I don't know.
It is kind of like we're in the part of the movie where it's like about this is like the end, right? So we're coming to the end of our interview. And you really want to leave, and so we're like chasing after you.
Yeah, we're like,
wait, we have 2 more questions.
This idea works.
Yeah, like we're like running after you. Wait, what's your favorite rom-com? Tell us.
Okay, so the first question: what is your favorite rom-com and why?
So I thought about this long and hard, actually, and I think my favorite one is The Wedding Singer.
Ooh, I haven't seen that in so long.
I went into that movie for the first time not knowing anything about it, and it like blew my mind with how funny it was. And I still like, I do believe it's my favorite.
I was just gonna say it's Drew Barrymore and Adam Sandler, right? They're a good duo. I just watched 51st Dates like a month ago, and I was like, oh, they're so cute together.
I love that movie too, and it like makes me cry so hard. But like I love that movie.
That one's great. Yeah. Yeah, we should get Drew Barrymore on the show. Would be a dream. I think she's such a great lead in rom-coms.
It's always my favorite part in a rom-com where they make you laugh so much, but then they also make you cry, and then they make you laugh again, and you're just like, all these emotions.
Beautiful.
Okay, what is your favorite rom-com trope to write and why?
Well, I guess people not getting along.
Enemies to lovers.
Enemies to, yeah.
A fave.
Yeah, I'm trying to think because I do watch a lot of rom-coms, but I definitely watch more comedies in general. So I was just struggling with that a little bit. I'll tell you my least favorite trope.
Yeah,
okay.
It's good.
Over the top, really gross tongue kissing that they do in a lot of like comedy movies. I'm like, I've had enough of that.
You don't want to see that.
Yeah. No, and it's been done so many times. I'm like, it's, I don't know. Anyway.
Yeah, you're not into it. What is your favorite rom-com outfit that you've seen in a film?
I don't know. I mean, I love a lot of the outfits on the Sex and the City movies.
That's true.
Those are really nice.
But yeah, I honestly, I can't think of it. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
No, that's a good answer.
We've also talked about how Hallmark leading ladies have such fabulous wardrobes and peacoats, such good winter wear that I've never aspired to have in my life.
Yeah, they're always really well dressed in those movies.
Yeah. Pajamas, just everything is very polished.
No one has the shirt with the holes in it because the dog chewed them.
Yeah, that's literally my shirt right now.
And the sweatpants from when you painted one time and you shouldn't have painted in those sweatpants.
Yeah,
like
classic.
But yeah, that's pretty. I dress the opposite of every Hallmark movie lady, but I love how they dress.
Me too.
Yeah, very romantic.
Do you have a favorite memorable line from a rom-com or moment?
Would you count like Mean Girls as a romantic comedy?
Yeah,
I mean, I feel like it's a comedy with a little bit of romance.
Comedy with some romance.
Yeah,
like that's
you can share something from that
because they are fighting over the guys, right? Like she wants to get Aaron Samuels.
Girly. It definitely is in alignment with like what we talk about here.
Yeah,
I don't know. One of my favorite lines from that one is like, "She doesn't even go here." With like,
yeah, it's so good.
There's so many. That movie was just perfection. I'm like
brilliant.
I'm wondering what the new one will be like. I'm definitely going to.
Oh yeah,
musical.
I haven't seen the Broadway musical, but I would have gone like if I had the chance.
Yeah.
I'm just very curious to see what it's going to be like.
Yeah,
me too. The trailer I thought was.
Sorry.
Yeah, I love musicals. I think the trailer was kind of weird because it didn't feature any of the songs. So it just feels like it's a repeat. And I feel like it's actually going to end up being a lot cooler once we realize, oh, there's original music. But I was kind of confused by the marketing.
Super curious. A lot of good people in it. So, we'll see.
Renee Rapp, who I really like. She's a musician separately, but she also was on the Broadway production of Mean Girls as well. She's really talented. And in Sex Lives of College Girls, which I love that show. Yeah, she's so good.
I really try to go into watching things like hoping that they're going to be good and not hoping that they're going to be bad. And even if something is bad, I would never talk shit about it online. I know how much work goes into it, but but I'm sure it's going to be like, I'm sure the songs are good. I mean, if it was on Broadway.
Yeah.
I think it will be. Have you seen any rom-coms recently that you enjoyed? Or films in general? It doesn't have to be a rom-com.
One of my favorite rom-coms of just like the recent few years was like in Netflix. It was Set It Up. I thought it was really fun.
Oh yeah.
Yes. People love that one. Yes.
It was just very like adult, it was very like sharp. And I just really enjoyed that one. I love the Barbie movie. I don't know if that doesn't really count as a rom-com, but it's a great comedy.
It's in the same like girly, female-driven category. Yeah. Awesome.
other than that, I'm trying to think. I haven't like watched a lot of. Ooh, you know what's really good? This is like not a
Mm.
comedy movie like at all, but it's a Jewish movie. It's called Lullaby,
Mm.
and it's a Jewish
Haven't seen
horror
it.
movie about like
Oh.
a lullaby that summons like Lilith to steal your baby, and it's actually pretty
Whoa.
funny too. It's got a lot of humor in it,
Oh. I've
and
not
it's
heard of
on
it.
Hulu. And I watched it recently, and I was kind of blown away by how much I enjoyed it. And like we need more Jewish horror too. I think that
Oh, I like that
Yeah,
suggestion.
that's
Yeah.
interesting.
That's something
Yeah.
I've never seen.
I'm a big fan of comedy and horror. Like these
Oh,
are
yeah.
my
Mhm.
two favorite genres, and if you can combine the two,
Mhm.
that's really great. There was a movie on Amazon recently that was like comedy and horror. It was trying to remember it was like
Did
she
you
goes
see
back.
that Vince Vaughn one? I can't remember what it was called. The Vince Vaughn one. I thought that was really funny. Where him and the teenager, he's like a
Oh,
serial killer and he switches bodies with the like
yeah.
teenage girl.
I watched that a while
That
back.
was hilarious.
Yeah.
I can't remember what it's
I'm
called.
I'm terrified of horror, so
That-
these recommendations will not apply for
It wasn't for
me.
you. They're
I'm
like,
such a wimp, guys. Like I literally cover my eyes if there's a horror movie trailer. Like if I'm at the movies, like I literally cover. I need therapy for like horror movie exposure or something.
one of my favorite movies, which is a horror movie, a zombie movie, and a rom-com and a comedy. I think it's a perfect movie. That's also a Hulu movie called Little Monsters. And
ooh,
I
I
don't
haven't
hear
seen that.
enough
Not heard of
people
it either.
talking about it, but it's
Yeah.
one of the best movies of the last few years. It's like perfect. It's just absolutely perfect. And I think if you like comedy and horror and zombies, you're gonna love that one.
Ooh, okay.
Very
We'll
specific.
check these out.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Okay.
Aidan.
The last question. If money didn't matter, you could make any kind of movie you wanted, what would you do?
I would just keep making comedies that like I do like infusing a little bit of sci-fi or magical realism in them.
Ooh.
It's not in everything that I do, but it's in a lot of what I do. So if like budget was no concern, there's some stuff that I wrote that I would actually love to get made. I would love to just hire all my friends because all my friends are comedians and writers and actors, and it would be just my dream to be able to work with them professionally. So yeah, that's what I do. And I would buy a block on a buy a whole block and have like everyone be neighbors. That's the dream.
Yeah, that'd be
That's
so
awesome.
cute.
Yeah.
Make stuff all the time.
Mhm. That'd be so
A
fun.
little production block.
Yeah,
Mhm.
wouldn't that be the coolest?
Yeah. Everyone
be
just
really
lives near each
cool.
other.
Just like Leo in the back or something, you know.
Yeah.
Buy a piece of land and PA and make it a studio
Love
that everyone
it.
lives at.
That would be really cool.
That's awesome.
Thank you so much for coming on. It was so nice to finally
you.
chat with you after, messaging back and forth for a couple of years now. So it was really nice to chat.
Thanks so much for having me. This is really nice.
Awesome.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Thanks.
Bye.
This has been an episode of When Isabel Met Aviva. Thank you so much for tuning in today. It means so much to us. If you want to stay up to date with our episodes, please subscribe. Bonus points if you leave us a positive review. We really appreciate that. It makes us happy. You can follow us on Instagram at When Isabel Met Aviva, on TikTok at When Isabel Met Aviva, and on Twitter at Isabel Met Aviva. We're both on social media, of course. I am Aviva Pelton on Twitter and Instagram, Peltin. And Isabel, share your socials.
My socials will be in the show notes because they're a little more confusing. So just read the show notes and you'll see how to follow me.
Yeah.
I'm just going to start saying that now.
Yeah, it's too complicated to share
Yeah.
3 names. So thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions or you just want to connect with us, feel free to reach out to us anywhere. We love hearing what you guys think of each episode. We love feedback. We want to make this as great as it possibly can be. And yeah, have a great week. And don't forget to watch and write as many rom-coms as possible. Bye, everyone.
Bye.